Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for checking out our channel, All Is Wells. I am the namesake of the channel. Without my name, this channel wouldn't exist. Nah, I'm being funny, y'all. I'm not egotistical at all. But seriously, I thank you all for stopping by the channel. Uh, you know, this channel would not be possible if it wasn't for my wife, Ivana, and the birthing that occurred from a sermon series that we conducted at Liberation right in the heart of the pandemic. I want to say it was May 2020 when we conducted an interview with our pastor, Pastor J. Patrick, where I think the sermon series was focusing on the subject of uncut gems, where we were focusing on individuals who were in our ministry or couples who were all dealing with some insurmountable task at the time and how they were able to literally persevere like the metaphor of a diamond. You know, when you apply pressure to a diamond, or really when you apply pressure to coal, it will, be a very messy and just ugly process. And eventually, that coal will, with the right amount of pressure, will form into a diamond. And I think with Pastor Jay, he really wanted to highlight our journey at the time of us being 6 years into our marriage, and just really just highlight uh, how we've been able to stay shining and stay bright. So, most of the times I am a very private individual. This is me stepping out of my comfort zone. I, you know, don't mind sharing, my story with others. Um, I really love to try to inspire and help and uplift and encourage people. And when my wife, Yvonne, just came up with this ideal, I was like, all right. And I just went out and just got all the equipment and all this stuff. And I'm just really proud of her that she kept this fire alive, that she kept this passion alive, and that hopefully she can inspire men, women, young, old, mothers, daughters, whoever the case may be, uh, that is just inspiration to others to know that they can persevere. So, how I sort of came into the mix. Obviously, you've heard about Yvonne's journey, and for my journey, being a part of this, um, you know, a lot of times there is a lot of focus on the person who is uh, dealing with the sickness or dealing with the disease, and that obviously, we want to pour in, we want to support, we want to uplift and encourage them as much as possible. But sometimes we forget about the caregivers. And in no way, shape, or form am I, uh, have any ill will towards this process or feel that all the attention's on her and I'm jealous or I feel left out. My part to come into play is that, for people who have family members who are dealing with MS, that having to be a caregiver can be very stressful. It can be very cumbersome. It can feel like it's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on you to deliver. And that's where I want to debunk that, because that's where my mind has been previously. And that's where my spirit was at in previous iterations. So I can remember when, and I can't recall if in the video that was in our very first video where Pastor Jay asked the question, about the diagnosis, and you know, Yvonne already touched on what led up to it, but what ultimately happened for us was the date where November 14, 2014, at 10 a.m., it was Yvonne, her mother, my mother-in-law, and myself. We were all in VCU's office, and we met Dr. O for the first time, and some of his students are in the room, and he's going over all of her charts. He's doing all these tests on her, and going into it, I'm thinking to myself, it's just a fluke. It's just, just something going on with her. It's temporary. But when Dr. O said that, Yvonne, you have MS, or multiple sclerosis, it was immediately in my head, it was the irrational fear that settled in, where ultimately I thought that this was a death sentence for Yvonne, because I was unaware of the disease. I was not that well informed or well equipped to even know it. And because of that irrational thinking and that fear, I began to panic. And I just thought, wow, the first 3 months of my marriage, my wife's her health's gonna decline. I was in a space where I thought the worst was gonna happen to her. And as a husband, I wanted to be a protector. I wanted to make sure that she was taken care of. And I felt like I disappointed her or myself. It was just all these different irrational beliefs that I had in my head that just wasn't warranted. And when I walked out of that room, walking past the reception desk, and my best friend, his mother, happened to work at the department. Now, mind you, my best friend, we've been friends for well over 18 years. I done lost count. We're getting old, but I knew that his mother worked at MCB, but I never knew what department she worked in. I never knew what her job title was. When we walked in that morning, it was a shock to see her there. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then, as I get the news and I just storm out in the middle of the appointment, I was followed by my best friend's mother. And she stopped me right as I was pressing the elevator button. And she told me, and I'll never forget these words, Mario, I see so many people coming here every single day, and they're having to deal with these same issues. And just because you get this diagnosis today, it does not mean that Yvonne will not live a fulfilling life. You need to support her, and you need to be with her, because she needs you. And when I heard those words, I knew that it was my assignment, that I had to shift, and I had to get ready for this new life that we were going to embark upon. And I just really started to research it a little bit more and understand it a little bit more. I started finding out other celebrities that had it. For instance, Richard Pryor, was one of my favorite comedians, but at the time I was too young to even understand what multiple sclerosis was, let alone I didn't know that he was, suffering from it. I just thought it was from the lifestyle that he lived that ultimately caused him to have the complications and eventually pass away. And then, one of my favorite R&B singers growing up, who I had a real thing for when I was a young lad, right? But
My
I
God.
had Tamina. Tamina. No, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrestler. Tamia.
Tamia.
Tamia, who's Grant Hill's wife, and I didn't know that she had been diagnosed with MS as well. Um, I found that out when I was researching. Then I saw Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack Osbourne. I saw the young woman from The Sopranos, Tony Soprano's daughter, and the list goes on and on and on. And what really was formulated at that time for me was the fact that wow, these people actually lived a lot longer after the diagnosis, and you would never know that they have it. And that sort of brings me to this day where, you know, I am a very, very involved in my career. I do a lot in real estate development. I, um, you know, produce affordable housing units within the greater Richmond area. It is a very um, demanding job in some regards. You know, there's always the time of the year where my nose is into a bunch of Excel spreadsheets, cranking out a bunch of applications, making sure that we get our projects done. And I'm driven by it not because of a paycheck or anything that is materialistic of it. You know, don't get me wrong. I like to make money, but what really gives me peace and what gives me a drive towards it is the fact that we're helping people who are at the most vulnerable in terms of you know having enough income to sustain themselves and be able to have shelter, and that is really a part of my ministry, and I really have grown a lot in it. And at times, I've struggled and I've wrestled with, well, how do I maintain to be a great husband and do the job that I've been called to do? And I've wrestled with that. A lot of times, I've passed up on opportunities to be a part of different clubs and different things in the community because, well, I just felt like I had to be, ready and do things at the house. Um, Early on in my foray in development, there was a period where I was traveling between Baltimore and Suffolk, Virginia, and Baltimore, Maryland. I was traveling between those two jurisdictions every other week. So one week I was in Baltimore for like 2 days, and then Suffolk I was in there for a day, and I would alternate weeks. And it was exciting at first, but then again that irrational fear, that belief set in where I need to be at home, I need to watch Vanna, I need to make sure she's okay. And the responsibility that I had at that time was one of the therapeutics that Yvonne was taking, where she had to give herself injections 3 times a week. And there would be these 2 spots, both on the back of her forearms, where it was that time of the cycle I had to administer those injections. So for me, I became very proficient at inoculations. And that's a big word that I learned from doing all of that with Vonna. So for me,
I think that's right, but okay.
oh, it ain't? It's not? No, that's it.
Mm-mm.
It's inoculations.
No.
It's not?
I don't think so. Inoculation.
Come on now.
Okay, might be right.
Come on
The
now.
action of immunizing someone against a disease
Come on now.
by introducing infective material, microorganisms, or a vaccine. It's not, no, the
Come on now.
medication The
Come on now.
medication, no, the
Come on
medication
now.
you were injecting was the purpose was to slow the progression of MS. So it really wasn't. I mean, you injected the medication into my arm.
Look, so we gonna keep all that footage in there, cause
Yeah.
look, that was a big word that I learned.
Oh,
Okay. But no, on the serious note, for me, when I had to administer those injections for Ivana, I um I had to I had to really develop the courage to do that because I didn't want to hurt her. And ultimately, I just did it, and I wanted to be there to support her. And I feel like at this point of where I'm at in my career, in ministry, and just all the other titles that I have or responsibilities that I have, um, I realized, and I told Vonna this, I have to find happiness in what I need to be fulfilled in. And I can do those things and still be a supportive and loving husband. And while I don't have the disease, I definitely know what it can do. And I'm glad that I stuck to my why. Because a lot of the things that I've been afforded in my life, I don't think I would have ever have mustered up the courage or had the opportunity to be serious about my faith, to really take my faith and apply it, and also to be fearless about a lot of things that I've been tasked with, and in my professional career, in ministry, and just being a son, a brother, all those different things. I owe it to her. And we're going on 9 years, and it definitely has been an honor being married to her. With this channel, it's been a bit of a tug of war between us. I've been trying to encourage and push, but sometimes it's not well received. And when God presented us with the opportunity to minister to others together, because without this ministry that I'm embarking upon, if she's not a part of the ride, it can't be complete. And when I saw the people who were moved by our message, I knew that God was showing us something. And I did not want to squander that. And I'm so proud of her. And I'm here to help. I'm here to be the person behind the camera. And I'm here to even jump on and talk with her. But ultimately, I just want to encourage those who are having to give the care, who are having to be the support, who are having to endure with this process. I just want to encourage and pray that the road seems difficult right now, but the fulfillment that you have in walking through your assignment better will be there when you get there on the other side. And I'm so thankful that I have been here every step of the way with my wife. And I just encourage, for those who are married, who are dealing with this as well, don't forget your why. don't forget the importance of honoring your vows. The temporary things, the 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 discord, the the egos, the frustrations, they're gonna be there. But when you're with someone and you're bound with them through God's eyes and through His union, there's nothing wrong with fighting. There's nothing wrong with being there. It's nothing wrong with knowing that you're vulnerable, that you get weary, that you get frustrated, that your spirits get down. It's okay to be in your flesh. But God doesn't want you to stay there. So I just welcome everybody again. I thank you all for the time. And please don't forget to share this video with a friend, with a family member, a co-worker, with whomever. And don't forget to like wherever them little buttons are at the bottom of the screen. Just hit it. That like is free. It just take 1 second. We want to get this thing out here for people to know, because there's people who are dealing with this stuff, and the people who have to help with that, they also need the love and support as well, and they need the encouragement. So thank you all for stopping by the channel, All Is Wells. We thank you all. We do not take this for granted. We truly, truly thank you all. And please stop back by with another video. We love y'all. Peace.